JJK Season 3 anime is officially out. One episode wasn't enough, so they gave us 2 bangers. And of course, it wouldn't be JJK without the fights, because already we have Choso versus Naoya, and we have Yuta versus Yuji. And in true JJK and Mappa fashion, both of these fights were absolutely crazy. We'll start with Naoya versus Choso, because picking up directly from Season 2 with JJK, remember in that fight of Naobito versus Jogo? Naobito ended up passing away. So now the Zenin clan needs a new leader, and seemingly it looks like it's gonna be Naoya. That's pretty simple, pretty straightforward enough, except for the fact that it's actually not going to be Naoya. But the new head of the Zenin clan is actually set to be Megumi. And this is actually because of a clause where if Gojo is dead or incapacitated, and right now Gojo is still sealed, Megumi would become the next heir to the Zenin clan. Okay, alright, I'm with it, but how does this lead us to Naoya versus Choso? Well, obviously Naoya isn't pleased with the fact that he's no longer gonna be the head of the Zenin clan, and he knows that Megumi and Yuji are set to meet, so if he goes after Yuji, he plans to kill Sukuna's vessel, and by proxy, kill Megumi. Okay, so we already have big problems. Reminder that now that Gojo is sealed, there's not really any reason to keep Yuji alive, because Gojo was the main one who was sticking up for him, except for Choso, who is Yuji's brother, or so he says, right? But whatever. Choso and Yuji are sticking together, but when Naoya shows up and he's threatening to kill Yuji, well, obviously, you gotta go through Big Bro. But that's until the biggest of bros, Yuta shows up. Now, I've been dying to see Yuta interact with the rest of the cast. I've been dying to see Yuta interact with Yuji in specific, because if you watch JJK 0, and I watched JJK 0 after the Shibuya incident because I'm an idiot and I watched it in the wrong order, then you would know that there are some pretty big similarities between Yuta and Yuji. So I thought they would be cool. I'm like, these two are gonna get along just great, right? Well, actually not, because Yuta shows up and he's like, yep, Yuji, I'm gonna kill you. At this moment, I'm like, yep, you know, it's over. Yuta is the biggest of bros, so much so that Naoya is like, you know what, I'm not even messing with you. You go handle Yuta, just let me use him as bait to get to Megumi. So that's how the stage is set. That's how we get our 2 fights in episode 1 and 2. And if you're asking me which fight I liked more, I like Choso versus Naoya. What an absolutely beautiful fight. Both of these were beautiful fights and absolutely gorgeous to look at. And here's another thing about the Culling game so far. This has been the absolute pinnacle of imagery when it comes to JJK. The season literally starts with Yuji trying to wash the blood off his hands and being unable to. And these 2 episodes have been our first time seeing Yuji after the Shibuya incident. Completely different character than season 1 and even in season 2. Anywho, now that we've covered Choso versus Naoya, and by the way, that's another win for my glorious GOAT, Choso. Naoya has been stated to be very strong, but you're 0-1, buddy. Let's talk about a real winner. Yuta versus Yuji. Now, Yuji has been instructed, just run away. Like, there's no chance, there's no opportunity that you even survive if you try fighting Yuta. Yuta's presence alone has been stated to feel like Gojo, but a lot darker. In fact, Yuta even says so himself that he's a power type similar to Yuji. However, Yuji derives his power because he's physically strong, whereas Yuta makes up for it by being physically weak. However, his cursed energy is extremely potent. He even says himself that he has more cursed energy than Gojo. However, his cursed energy can run out, whereas Gojo's cursed energy is limitless. So all I'm hearing right now is that Yuta is up there. I'm not a power scaler, but is this guy not Gojo and Sukuna level? I don't know. I don't even want to get into that conversation. I don't even want to get into that territory. But Yuta is strong, so much so that he kills Yuji. And of course, in this moment, I'm thinking, yeah, you know, Yuji's gonna live. Like, he came back from worse. Well, turns out he did live, because Yuta himself ended up saving him. He just needed to put up a facade like he was killing Yuji. So right now, Yuji is in a state of basically his second fake death. But you know who's not faking their death? This is a horrible transition. This is a heartless transition. Nobara. Nobara is dead. And this might be mean. I like Nobara, but when they said Nobara is dead, nothing. I felt nothing. I feel like they killed off Nobara. Killed off, because you know how JJK and Shonen are. They might collect the 7 Dragon Balls and bring Nobara back. But she hasn't really done anything worth remembering. Like, if you're gonna kill off her character arc, I don't know if now is the right time. Because honestly, it's like Nobara's cool, but okay, I'm not losing sleep over it. I don't know about y'all. Maybe y'all are some big Nobara fans. But hey, keep Choso alive, keep Todo alive, and I'm good. Those are my favorite characters. But now that I've got that out the way, we should probably talk about what this entire arc revolves around, which is the Culling game. We're about to get fights on fights on fights on fights, and I'm cool with it because you know how Mappa animates, so I'm fine. Bring on all the fights. Well, a little context about the Culling game, they actually threw up the Culling game rules, and there are some pretty interesting rules in here, some in specific that I want to talk about. So all right, let's go over the rules of the Culling game, and I'll make it quick. I don't want to bore y'all. Y'all just act like I'm the chill male substitute teacher. After awakening their curse technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within 19 days. I'm gonna be honest, as an anime only, I don't know what colony means. I'm guessing that they gotta squad up with one another, and this is like a group project. I thought the Culling Game would be a free-for-all. That's what I was under the impression of, but we'll see how it plays out anyways. Players breaching the first rule shall be stripped of their technique. Non-players shall become players upon entering a colony. This is where it starts getting interesting though, because it says players will receive points upon ending the life of another player. We're gonna have fights, and not only are we gonna have fights, we're gonna have deaths. Points shall be designated based on the value that the game master gives their life. And fundamentally, a sorcerer will be 5 points and non-sorcerers will be 1 point. I'm guessing that since it says fundamentally, these values are subject to change. For example, if you were to kill Yuta, first of all, good luck with that. And second of all, he'd probably be worth more than just a regular sorcerer. So this seems like a cool little bounty system. By spending 100 points, players may negotiate with the game master to add an additional rule. And the game master must approve any additional rule requested under Rule 6, except when the rule would significantly hinder the continuation of the Culling Game. So I'm assuming, of course, I don't think that this would be a rule unless it's meant to be used by somebody. Who's gonna get to 100 points? And not only who's gonna get to 100 points, but what rule are they going to add to the Culling Game? This is the rule that has me excited. Could you imagine getting to 100 points? All right, Game Master, you gotta unseal Gojo now. Or matter of fact, Game Master, I got a new rule. Yuji can't participate unless he lets Sukuna take over. That'd be evil if I was in the Culling Game. I'm like joking, but seriously, this is the rule that has me completely excited for the Culling Game. Who is going to get 100 points? A sorcerer is worth 5. You gotta kill 50 sorcerers to get 100. Who's got what it takes? Somebody's gonna have what it takes. And then lastly, players who do not show a change in points in 19 days of joining will be stripped of their technique. So you gotta kill somebody. You gotta kill people. It's not just Yuji that has blood on his hands. And mind you, Yuji only has blood on his hands because Sukuna took over. Is Yuji gonna have to kill somebody himself now? I don't know. All of this is just speculation. I'm a measly anime only. I don't know. I'm expecting everybody to have blood on their hands. And obviously this is gonna be a bloodbath because we got sorcerers sourcing that have never sourced before. Like Megumi's sister. Now she's dragged into this. Honestly, I'm excited. I read some comments from last video. It seems that generally most JJK manga readers have preferred Shibuya Incident to the Culling Game. I don't know. I'm looking at the first 2 episodes of Culling Game like, how could this not be a banger arc? But we'll see though, because I believe that episode 3 comes out soon. As for the rest of the episode, the squad tries to meet up with Tengen, which leads to arguably the best scene in season 3 so far, where Yuji calls Choso his older brother. But the episode ends off with them meeting Tengen and Tengen acknowledging all of them. I cannot wait for episode 3, and I cannot wait to see the rest of the Culling Game arc, because clearly Mappa brought their A game, Gege brought his A game, and from episode 1 and 2, Yuta brought his A game, Choso brought his A game, Naoya, anyways, if you made it this far, I think episode 3 comes out literally today. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, everyone.